Hello. I am going to be reading Vivian Paley's The Boy Who Would Be a Helicopter, page 54 and on, for a little bit anyway. And again, I'm working on, in my head, I'm always keeping in mind, like, how can I know that the culminating assignment is creating a child study for Jason. So I'm thinking of items that Vivian talks about or details Vivian talks about that I can include in that if I'm you. All right. So the sand table fantasy may have been satisfying, but evidently Alex needs a more permanent position paper on Jason. The following morning, he tells this story. Once, some lions had a baby lion, and then at nighttime, the baby cried. Something was bothering the baby when he slept at night, and then he knew it was outside and that you could hear it. It was a helicopter that was outside, and the baby lion couldn't sleep. Now they had a new rule. No helicopter can come at night. The end. In the story room, I say, Jason, there's something in Alex's story I must show you. I know you can't read, but I'll point to the words and tell you what they say. Jason comes quickly. This is a new behavior from the teacher. Look here where my finger is. This says they had a new rule. No helicopters come in the night. Show me again, Jason says. I want to see it. I want to see it, several children shout, and I ask Alex to take his paper around and show it to everyone. He holds the story close to each child's face and pretends to read the message. No helicopter ever can come in the night. The end. I retrieve Alex's story and place it in the pile of stories on my lap. We'll do Jason's story first, I say, and he tumbles into the center of the rug. Mine's going to crash so the baby doesn't wake up, he tells me. Then he repeats his entire story before I can read it. Mine has some propellers, are Y's, and some are X's. He shows us the letter shapes with his fingers and arms, racing around at his fastest speed and highest decibel. Crash, he shouts, falling flat on the rug. He returns to his seat and does not interrupt the stories that follow, although several times he comes to see Alex's rule. The next morning, Jason puts his finger on the bottom of the page and says, my rule is here. What's the rule? A helicopter. A rule about a helicopter? The rule is helicopter. I print his word an inch from the bottom in the right-hand corner. Put my another rule here. He points to the middle of the page. What rule goes here? Helicopter. Do you want to draw a picture of a helicopter instead of me writing it? A picture can't be a rule. And one goes here, and one goes here and here. And before we are done, Jason has located 6 more rules. Then he begins his helicopter rumble, touching each word as he starts the motor. What's Jason doing? Joseph asks, giving Jason's helicopter a slight push along the table. Why does his story look like that, teacher? Before I can answer, Jason whines and pulls at Joseph's hand. Don't touch my helicopter. Joseph hums softly. Just looking at it. Slowly he begins to turn the blades. I watch in trepidation. No one is allowed to handle the helicopter. Psh, here you go. It's broken. I have to fix it, Jason cries, pushing Joseph away. Can you show it to me? Joseph asks softly. Does it go? It can't go now. I didn't put in the fuel. Psh, here's the fuel. Nice little helicopter, Joseph continues, aiming an imaginary nozzle and keeping his hand on the plane. Where's the wheels? Under here, Jason says, looking as if he might be stifling a scream as Joseph continues to move the helicopter. Hey, Jason, you want to come to my house? Along you go. Psh, there you go. Here you are. Slowing down, it's a helicopter lullaby. Everyone at the table watches quietly. The moment is intimate, soothing, and calming. Hey, Joseph, come over here, Alex shouts. Look what I bring. I gotta go, Jason. Here's your helicopter. Jason stares at Joseph as he disappears into a snake hideout. Then Jason turns back to a story paper filled with rules and the end, here, where it lands. I think I know what your story is, Jason. You'll land on each place where it says helicopter. That's the rule, he says. The rule is wherever it says helicopter, you have to land. Will you land on the paper or on the rug? On the rule. He grabs his helicopter story and dives into his airport. Don't touch my helicopter, Joseph, he says. Are you going to? I won't. Joseph and his helicopter are an intriguing pair. Although he knows he is Jason, separate from a helicopter, in anxious moments, surrounded by lots of people, the boundaries blur. The distinction is no problem when he can act out his own story and be a helicopter. But the constantly changing stories of the classmates on the stage worry him, as they seldom do in the block area, where a tangible structure shields him from other fantasies. The difference then between the story room and the block area would seem to be a matter of territoriality. Once his story has been acted out, he can no longer see, touch, or defend a private landing place. This may be why he decides to land his helicopter on the paper and carry the story paper with him. One line of guessing I don't bother with is what the helicopter ultimately represents to Jason. My task is to figure out how his symbol can carry him to safety in our classroom. Meanwhile, we talk about the problem of the moment in hopes of reaching a solution for the day. I tell what I think, the children tell what they think, and our mutual interest in what Jason thinks is a good substitute for settling the issue. We can never fully discover the essential issues for each child or set up the perfectly safe environment. What we do is continually demonstrate the process of searching for solutions. This is the point at which studying becomes teaching. Jason, sometimes you still run into the stage, even if it's not your turn. My blades are spinning, but it seems as if your blades spin more in the story room than in the blocks. Because he makes an airport there to land, Samantha points out. Could that be the reason, I wonder? Well, yeah, it really is the reason, Joseph states with assurance. Aren't you sad because you don't have an airport in here to land, to stay landed? Jason is surprised by the question, but Joseph interprets his silence as agreement. See, I told you. He's sad because there's no airport. His helicopter needs one. Is Joseph right, Jason? If you had an airport in here, would your helicopter stay landed? The children think it will. Yes, he answers doubtfully, not following the consequences of the discussion. The problem is, I remind everyone, this is a small room. We already have a rule about not bringing blocks in here. Let him make a small airport, Arlene says. Just 2 blocks. I want to. Jason's face is shining with expectation. 2 blocks. Let him do it. Do it, Jason. The children jump about in a wild display of happiness. There are a few classroom experiences as exhilarating as one in which we can help a classmate escape from a trap door.